Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Crypto Space. So in today's video we are going to cover Kaspa, its recent price action. We are going to cover a couple of interesting metrics for Kaspa, a bit of a news, and of course we are going to cover BTC, we are going to cover alts, etc. And later we are going to look at charts of Kaspa so we can understand what could happen next potentially for Kaspa. So if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and a quick disclaimer that this video is not a financial advice. And now let's hop into Kaspa itself. So Kaspa is currently trading at 12 cents and is currently experiencing a leg down of 9.9%. So that is not necessarily great, and we are going to cover the price shortly. Now, market cap is currently sitting at 2.9 billion USD and 24-hour trading volume is currently sitting at 106.6 million USD. So the first things first, guys, I wouldn't necessarily be worried that Kaspa is dipping. Obviously, most of the crypto market is dipping, pretty much everything, and that's obviously due to recent pullback of a BTC. And I do believe that BTC sell-off due to anticipation of the halving event. On the top of that, we have some potentially negative news coming from Israel, and obviously that drives scarcity in the market. However, I don't necessarily think that is going to be in that bad. So despite all of these negative war news, potentially a further sell-off from BTC, this is something that's brewing for us. Technical charts suggest a roaring altcoin season might be just ahead, analysis say. So obviously that's the chart that I was showing yesterday, and we are going to get into that very soon. But another bullish news is that will Hong Kong Bitcoin's ETFs spark the halving rally? They potentially could, but interesting fact of everything is that Hong Kong could approve 4 Bitcoin ETFs before the halving. So that is a very big, I do believe, because we do have halving coming in pretty much few days. So if these guys would approve it within few days, that will be amazing, I would say. Hong Kong regulators could approve both Bitcoin and Ether ETFs on April 15th. So guys, that would be very big in my opinion. And on the top of that, guys, 81,900 BTC mined, and now 305,000 of BTC was sold by Grayscale, 185,000 was sold by everybody else, etc. But interesting thing is that everything all together still comes out in green. So we do have a big pressure from these ETFs if you do think about it. Of course, we do have that selling pressure from Grayscale. However, that is going to ease off at some point, and of course that is going to be cut in half after the halvings. And now if we are going to look at the BTC, we do have potential targets of 100k, guys. So that is inevitable and it's going to come sooner or later. Who knows if we are going to see continuation of that dip or we are going to bounce right away in few days. But of course, even if we are going to see the dip on BTC, and of course that is going to pull most of the market with itself, that is going to be just temporary anyways. If we are going to look at the longer picture for Kaspa and BTC, of course this is BTC's rainbow chart, but of course that obviously indicates how early or how late we are in this bull cycle. And if you guys are going to think we are still in that still cheap area and we are before the halving event, so obviously these weeks, I would say perhaps 2-3 months, this is our window over here to scoop up more Kaspa, more BTC, or whatever you guys believe in, because later on I wouldn't necessarily say that is a great time. And if I'm going to point it out like this, and let's say technically that the bull cycle is going to finish, let's say roughly in March, April next year, that's going to put price of BTC at roughly 260 to, let's say, 400k. And now 400k technically be big price target, but we saw what are the inflows from ETFs. As I was saying previously, those Grayscale selling pressure is going to end eventually, and of course Hong Kong ETFs, guys. So you can just imagine of what could happen to Kaspa's price. So the current reward for Kaspa is currently sitting at 117 Kaspas. The next reward is going to be 110, and the next reduction is coming in 22 days. So the hash rate is currently sitting at 214 terahash per second, and the highest hash rate was sitting at 226 terahash per second. So this is good, this is bullish. And now let's have a look at addresses that are holding over 10,000 Kaspa. So you guys been updated yesterday, and yesterday we were sitting at 72,240, and as of today we are sitting at 72,350, which is 110 new wallets holding over 10,000 Kaspa. And now looking at addresses holding over 100k Kaspa, that's only 10 new addresses, but it's still something. And now guys, you are probably thinking, why am am I always letting you know about when is the next reduction and what is the current reduction, etc. So if we are going to look at this chart, ever since Kaspa's inception, the reward was 440 Kaspas, and this is what we are sitting at currently, 110, right? However, if I'm going to zoom it out, we can clearly see that there will be less and less Kaspa available. Of course, that's going to come with years. However, that pictures how bullish Kaspa is long term. Of course, we are going to see profits during this bull cycle, but if we are going to look towards bigger picture, towards the future, that is definitely the same case as with BTC. So it could be dangerous not owning any Kaspa in coming years. Alright guys, so let's cover BTC. So what happened yesterday, there was basically a sell-off of 7-8% for BTC, and it's not necessarily that big if that would be the end of that pullback, right? Nobody really knows necessarily. However, that is just going to be temporarily. The only good thing is that we haven't even retested that level of 64k as a support, which is a local support, not mentioning about 59k. Question is, can we still do it? I do think this is definitely possible. However, things are looking okay at the moment. And now if we are going to look at altcoins excluding BTC and Ethereum on a daily, unfortunately at the time being this doesn't necessarily play out. However, I do believe that this is healthy. Lots of longs were liquidated, and now it's much more healthier for our alts to go parabolic and finally enter that box. However, one thing to point out is that BTC's dominance is dropping. Yes, we do have that pump over here, and we closed above that descending trend line over here for BTC. However, it's going to drop at some point, and that potentially is going to print altcoin season. So now guys, when we have all of this, let's have a look at Kaspa's chart finally. So as of yesterday, Kaspa dipped to levels of 11 cents. So as I was saying in the previous updates, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if Kaspa would revisit those levels and we are going to go sideways for a while. So if BTC is going to see the continuation of that sell-off, we could expect, let's say, the next technical level of support that will be around, let's say, 11, perhaps even 10 cents of a dollar. So I'm not saying that this definitely going to happen. However, it could, and it's going to print beautiful opportunities to scoop up some more Kaspa. At the moment, things are looking, let's say, okay, because BTC didn't dip that much, at least on a daily. And if we are going to look at the things from the perspective of what Kaspa is doing, Kaspa is basically repeating its history. So now basically this is the same thing that is going on. Kaspa is printing these descending triangles, and we could potentially see that breakout, the bullish breakout, once that selling off is going to eventually happen. So now Kaspa is also doing that historically, and I wouldn't necessarily be worried if Kaspa is stagnating the way it does. It just prints beautiful opportunities to scoop up some more for the future. Alright then, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching that quick Kaspa update. I hope that you have guys enjoyed it, and I wish you having a great day or evening wherever you are in the world. Peace and love, crypto.